Hi, and welcome to the Digital Jobsite, where the boards are straight, the weather's great, and there really is a board stretcher. With the new year approaching, I thought a short tutorial might be in order to cover creating a sphere in SketchUp. I'll use the Follow Me tool in this method, and then do a little bit of work with 3D text. And to start that process and keep the video short, I'm just going to grab the circle tool. We'll start drawing a circle here and type in 20 inches to give us a sphere with a 40-inch diameter. I've just right-clicked the perimeter of this, and I'm going to add a point at the center, which helps us manipulate this geometry into a sphere. And since there's nothing else in this model to index from, I'm just going to throw up a little reference cube over here, and we'll use that to rotate this disc. And I'm going to move a copy of this disc up. We're just going to move it up in the blue direction 20 inches, and then I'll rotate it in the red direction. Just hover my rotate tool over that face on that reference box, click the center of this, and then I can easily rotate this disc 90 degrees, which will basically make it stand up on top of the first disc I created. I'm just going to delete that face and move this point up 20 inches, which will put it at the top of our sphere for reference. Yeah, that it missed the. Well, we're just going to leave it there. And then we'll select this circle, the Follow Me tool, and click on the sphere. And you get this warning label, but in this case the sphere turned out just like we wanted it, so we can ignore the warning. It has something to do with the path and the profile not being directly connected. But anyways, we end up with a sphere with a 40-inch diameter, and we're going to cover this sphere or color this sphere just because we can. Let's take the textures in the model, or the materials in the model, and I'm going to grab this translucent glass block so we kind of have a mirrored sphere with the idea of the mirrored ball at Times Square, something corny like that. But anyways, it's pretty simple to create a sphere using those methods. I think there's other ways of doing it, but that one works pretty easy to end up with a sphere of a diameter that's necessary. And now we're going to do a little bit of 3D text. Just go up here to Tools, click 3D text, and I get this little dialog box, and in this box we'll just enter some text. How about happy? I'm using enter here to get this text to lay out like I want it. You can see down here, you can select the font, whatever font you want, and we had. Let's see if I can go back. Here we go. We can pick a different whatever text we want for this. I think I had a different one selected before, but we'll just use this one for now. And I've used 8-inch height, and I'm going to extrude it and fill it in this particular instance to make this text fit on our ball here. So you can see here we have 3D text. It's trying to snap to a face, and I'm just going to click it on this reference cube to get it in a vertical orientation. And now I'll right click this and unglue it, which means I can move it around in any direction. If it's glued, it'll stick on that face and only that face, but I want to move it around and stick it on the face of this ball. And it has a little bit of difficulty indexing because it's trying to index to all the different facets on this ball. We we want it to stay in a vertical perpendicular orientation. But the neat thing about the 3D text is that once it takes the font information and turns it into 3D, then that 3D text is geometry, just as if you would have gone in line by line and created each one of these letters. It's no longer a font, it's 3D geometry. And therefore it can be scaled and manipulated just like any other geometry. I want to shrink this down a little bit. I got these letters a little bigger. So because it's no longer a font, it's 3D geometry, I can scale it by taking the scale tool. I'm going to hold the control key, and I didn't like that. I'm going to grab this corner handle and the control key, and then I can just shrink the whole thing down proportionally. So the dialog box of picking the font height and size, I don't have to go back to the dialog box. I can just rescale, resize the geometry in itself. And then we can just pick a material out of the model. We use this brass looking metal, and so with that little set of steps, I've created a sphere, kind of like a mirrored ball. I'm going to make that a group. We have our 3D text, which is a group, and then I can group both of these things so that they can be moved and manipulated as a group. And so I just want to go through those steps to show you. I'm going to delete these things to show you how I created this little model here. And what this represents is just it's a Happy New Year greeting to anybody that's watching the Digital Job Site. And as our tacky little ball drops here at the Digital Job Site from 2012, kind of review the subjects that were covered this year on the Digital Job Site, starting with rafter pattern layout method and locating a building on a plot plan with SketchUp using all the features that it has to offer. We calculated rafters for intersecting roof planes. Showed some ways of using SketchUp and a volume plugin for figuring concrete volume, and did some inlay pattern layout ideas. Gave some suggestions on incorporating digital design. We did the Model and Measure hip rafter series, showing all that in-depth information about hip roof framing, and covered going over quick results from an unrefined SketchUp drawing, paint scheming with SketchUp, and working with details in SketchUp. We did the off-angle hip roof framing tutorial, and then finished off the year at Christmas with a free visual construction calculator to the Digital Job Site, which brings our falling ball down to the year 2013 and whatever subjects and topics will come up at that point. And we're kind of joined here by a group of SketchUp characters who will have been around for the last year. Hopefully they'll be around in the future. There's Bryce and all his friends from the component warehouse. And oops, I got my mirrored ball jumping around here. But anyways, that pretty much covers it. I hope that gives you a little insight into 3D text, some of the things the Digital Job Site has covered in the last year, and look forward to folks visiting in the year to come and whatever subjects and topics come up. In the meantime, Happy New Year from the Digital Job Site. Wish the best for you and all your endeavors in the coming year. Thanks for watching.